All right, Jason Belmonte advancing to the finals in the PBA Chameleon Championship, an event you've won 3 times in the past, obviously in different venues, and dating back now a decade and a half. What is it about Chameleon that no matter where we're at or what time of year it is, that you're going to perform at your best?
It's surprising that you said that. I wasn't aware that I'd won it 3 times. I don't typically like Chameleon. So it's surprising to me when you said that I've won it not just before, but a couple of times. Look, I think this week in particular, catching the cross is just a huge advantage. It's just huge. It's the difference between 250, 260 and 170, 180. And I think in the morning, I had a really great cross. Every pair that I went to, really not that much difference until there was, and then it was fine to make the move. Where tonight, going from game 1 to game 2, the only 2 pairs I felt like I had a similar look on, I bowled 240, 250 on. And then the other 3 games, the pair was really, really different. So I think, the key was when you have it and you find it, you figure out a way to get as many strikes as you can. And I was very lucky that I was able to do that in 6 of the 10 games that I bowled today.
20 games in for the World Championship now. You've hit every corner of the house at this point. What are you learning about the different characteristics of the house, and are you starting to, obviously each pair is going to be a little bit different, but are you starting to kind of pick up the differences a little bit quicker perhaps?
The problem is there's so many pairs that are different. Right lane hooks 10 more, left lane is tight, and go to the next pair, it's flip-flopped, and it's like, they all start to blur into each other. So I'm writing them down, and then I look at my notes, and I start doubting myself. I'm like, am I sure I said that about this pair the last time I saw it? Obviously every single day there's a new oil pattern as well, and so, tight lanes when the oil gets a little longer can be beneficial if you're playing a certain part of the lane. It's just a minefield out there, so it's really, really tricky. I think a lot of the guys are feeling it. We're very frustrated out there as well. So my goal is to try and not let it get to me, just accept it, and figure out the pair as best as I can when I'm on it.
What's the key with when you're bowling 10 games a day, different oil pattern, it all adds into the bigger picture with the World Championship? How do you stay at your best, game to game, pair to pair, round to round, just in these kind of short sprints that make up the longer marathon?
Yeah, I think the key is to always remind yourself that, hey, you might bowl a bad game right now, and maybe this is going to hurt your chances for the smaller tournament. But getting that double in the 10th, making that 10-pin spare in the 10th, whatever it is, just getting all of those pins makes a huge difference. When you count all the World Championship games, and so. That's typically how I've attacked the World Championship through my career, and I've had a lot of success here at the World Series and the World Championship, and it's because I just don't give away any pins if I can help it. I really do value every frame.
How are you feeling heading into Scorpion tomorrow?
Yeah, I feel really good. I think again, hoping that because I think our cross now is rejumbled again, so. Yeah, kind of hoping I get a really good cross and can come out early and strong like I did this morning. But if I don't, get every pin for the World Championship.
What kind of process do you go through mentally? For example, coming off of yesterday, things didn't go quite so right, to get yourself in a state of mind where you can attack and do what you did out there today.
Yeah, I think, my philosophy is it's pretty simple. Every single time I pick the ball up, get as many pins as I can. That's the goal. That's exactly how I think. So whether it's been a rough day, a rough night, the next time I pick the ball up, I'm working it out, I'm figuring it out, I'm making the best shot I possibly can to get as many spins as I can. And if you have that kind of mentality and philosophy, good days, bad days, it doesn't matter. You're focused on one thing, getting every pin you can. And for me, that just helps kind of create more of a tunnel vision, for not just the smaller tournaments in the World Championships, but yeah, the overall events. It's like, hey, this shot matters. Maybe you don't think it does right this very second, but it does matter. And yeah, I try to stay in that mindset.
The only other thing I've got is this area has not had a national tour stop since I've heard the 70s. And it's really cool to see the atmosphere out there, just being, someone on the outside looking in. What's it like for you guys to do what you do in front of this crowd that's really been hungry for a stop like this for years?
Yeah, it's always great when we have, people come and watch us. Look, I love bowling, but bowling in front of people is so much more fun. And they've definitely come out tonight. It is, because, obviously we have a split building. So when you make the turn and you got to cross the other side, it's, you say, excuse me, a few times. And it's good because, the fact that it's not quiet and the fact that it's not easy to change pairs means there's people in here watching. And ultimately, when you get that messenger and the crowd goes up behind you, I think we feed off of it. And I think it makes us feel, hey, this is professional bowling, So, thank you very much to everyone that's turned up.
Darren Tang, DT2, first show as a two-handed player here in the PBA Chameleon Championship. I got to imagine that's kind of the monkey off your back finally, some weight off your shoulders, huh?
Yeah, I feel like I've been pretty good mentally, not really thinking about, as a two-hander, I want to do this, I want to do that. Obviously, I'm here to try to make shows and try to win, but just really trying to focus on bowling. And I've been doing a pretty good job the last month, so we finally did it.
Yeah, you've been knocking on the door for a while. How have you been able to stay, even yesterday, you were right there at the end of it, the last game didn't go your way. How are you able to keep just grinding and fighting for it, even when things might not end, you get the result you want?
Yeah, I think in the past I've had a lot of things kind of bother me, injuries and just overthinking. Never really feeling like I was good enough physically to compete out here, but now that I've got the additional power paired with what I needed to do to be competitive one-handed, I think it's starting to show a little bit. So just understanding that things happen, you can't control it, but we can't control ourselves and our emotions, or we control how we react to our emotions. And I'm trying to focus a lot more on that than letting any kind of 170 to miss the show or whatever happens control me.
A lot of us try to convert to two-handed and we fail. Tell us about that journey and how you were able to incorporate parts of the traditional game into your two-handed game, because on the outside looking in, there are similarities there.
Do you want the actual answer or the smart-ass answer?
You can give me both if you've got time.
It's cheating. It's easy. Bowling two-handed is easy. Everybody should do it. If you've been watching bowling for a long time or you watch the channel or whatnot, I've early timing one-handed. I think I'm more naturally two-handed, so it was a lot easier for me to pick it up and actually work on things, and things just clicked a lot faster. I really noticed it when I took about 2 weeks off, came back, threw some shots. I was like, it's like I never left. When I would bowl one-handed, it would take me 2 or 3 days to kind of get back in sync, work on a bunch of things that, I work with Mike Jazz now. He has a ton of drills for me one-handed. I don't even think about those now. So I think there's a lot of mental capacity that's been freed up to actually just focus on bowling. So I think it's all just starting to click now.
I would think that would be kind of the opposite of what most people would think. Oh my gosh, this isn't something that I've done all my life. It's just something I'm learning now. How do you get past that mentally?
I see it as a different tool. It's like throwing a spare shot or being able to hook a ball, throw a backup ball. Just a different skill. I think because it's so, different, people don't really see it that way. There's this divide, one-handers, two-handers, and at the end of the day, we're just bowling. We're just finding a way to throw the ball down the lane and knock down as many pins as possible.
When you made the switch, the first event didn't go super great. Or maybe actually you did pretty well on double.
Good?
I think it was double.
The first one was good. So my partner Chris Vi carried me. He bowled for the title that event.
I believe so.
Yeah, so I actually did bowl. I carried my weight in the doubles. We finished 7th. If it's Baker, 50-50. If I didn't carry my weight, we probably would have finished 15th or 16th. So I'm gonna pat myself on the back there.
I believe the first event after that went pretty rough. But I know you finished top 20 in Reno at the Nevada Classic, top 15 at the TOC last year, I believe, and then a couple of top 20s, top 30s this year. What did you expect when you made the switch just to see results-wise in your first year, 2 years doing it?
So when I first switched, I said, I'll see you guys in 2027. It's a little sooner than that, but I'm starting to get a little more confidence in my ability to make shots, and I think acceptance has been the biggest thing, knowing that I haven't been doing this my whole career. So when I make a bad shot, I tell myself, hey, we could go one of two ways. We could accept it, or we can get mad about it and do the normal Darren thing. Oh, you're stuck in your head. You just try to fix it. Now just let it go. Try to make a better one, and I think I've been doing a pretty good job at that this last month or so.
Yeah, a lot of talk here about the two-handed switch and going for this first title two-handed. I feel like you're thinking I want title number 2 more so than anything else. How excited are you to bowl on TV and bowl for another title here?
Yeah, this is gonna be cliche, but I think I'm just stuck in the process. I'm not thinking about I want to win this title. I'm not thinking about it's gonna be my first 1-2, or it's my second title. It's what do we have to do to get the job done, and that's really where my focus is.
So what do you have to do to get the job done? Now that
Honestly,
you're in it?
just bowl my 10 frames, do it the best I can and the way I know how, and if the pins fall my way, great. If they don't, that's bowling.
All right, last one for you here. You're in a pretty good spot here in the World Championship through 20 games. Scorpions tomorrow, Shark the day after that. How are you feeling heading into the second half of the World Series here?
Yeah, same thing. Just trying to stick with the process, not really thinking too much. I mean, didn't show a lot of emotions knowing that I was going to make the show because I know we got to come back tomorrow, bowl 10 more games. My leg has been bothering me for the last 2 weeks. I thought the little break between the TOC and the World Series was going to give it enough time off to be fully ready to go, but we got to deal with it. So I think half of my brain is focused on that, and then the other half is focused on bowl.
Second place.
Is it second?
Damn.
Is it second?
DT2, number 2
DT2, number 2 seed. We don't want to be number 2 though. We're coming for you, Belmo.
No, listen, I've been on these shows calling them the 2 seed is nice. Okay, 1 seed,
you're right.
1 seed no good.
You're right.
Belmo has no shot.
We still got to win a match to get to the show though, right? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
All right, so we got to worry about that first.
All right, Darren, we'll see you on the show.
All righty. Thanks, Bel.
Kyle Sherman, a man who's held the mic as much as anybody this season, and is going to get to hold a bowling ball on the show for the Chameleon Championship.
Yeah.
You excited for that opportunity?
Dude, yeah. I mean, I haven't been that nervous going into a last game in forever. I mean, it was the adrenaline was finally going. I'm like, okay, this is what it feels like. So we're gonna have to do some prepping for this show because I was so nervous just bowling out there. So, but yeah, super excited.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've done more prep than anybody for these shows. It'll be in a different capacity
Talking
this time.
is way different than performing. Way different, I think.
You, we'll stick to these past 2 days. You were in rough shape the last few weeks.
Still.
Injury-wise. Still are.
Still.
I honestly, I thought you
Sitting
might
here
withdraw
hurts.
yesterday. So
Yeah,
how were you able to turn it around and make a show here?
Yeah, I told my fiance Amanda, I was like, I'm gonna bowl really good and make this show and then withdraw, so I don't have to bowl the rest of it. And honestly, I still might. Now that I'm gonna be bowling for this, I'm not gonna kill myself if things get too bad. But yeah, I'm just it's exhausting. All day I wake up and I'm doing stuff for my back. I'm eating, I'm getting it manipulated on, I'm decompressing it, I'm doing exercises. Right after this, we're going to the table, we're gonna get it work done, then we're gonna go home and eat the right meal, get some good medicine in my system, but all day. So yeah, I got some lower back issues, cost me to pull out of the TOC, which is unfortunate because I feel like I've been bowling really well, seeing the lane, have a lot of confidence. But yeah, no, we're just taking it day by day, and yeah, we're hoping we can get through.
Yeah, I feel like this has been an ongoing struggle for you the last few years because when you're healthy, it feels like you can compete with anybody out here, and you just haven't been healthy enough to string together good performances. How frustrating is that, just day to day, knowing when you're healthy, you can compete out here?
Yeah, I definitely feel that. It's hard to like get into a groove ever. I feel like when I do get into a groove, like this year, I got close to making a couple shows, and then my back goes out on me, and it's like, dude, it's just that's the battle I've been fighting. So, but yeah, I'm trying to keep my head up because you never know. Like, dude, I mean, I was literally right before this tournament, I was sitting in my car because I'm thinking I got 40 games in 4 days, and I can barely walk. This is the most daunting thing. I'm sitting there like, do I even go in? I was literally like frying out. I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to start this tournament. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go until I can't. And now I'm really happy I did. But yeah, it's frustrating. But I'm going to keep at it. I'm a bowler, which is what we do.
Yeah, we'll go back into that last game. Just the excitement of competing at the highest level here. You made the shots when you needed to down the stretch. Field ball notwithstanding.
It's Simo's fault. I was going to throw straight at it, guaranteed. And then he's like, fill it. I'm like, dude, I'm touching the wall. I had to end on the end pair. My hand's hitting the wall. My foot's kicking the wall. I'm throwing it to the gutter. And then, yeah, dude, all my mental energy went out on that first after I filled the 10th. And then, yeah, that one, I thought I threw it in the gutter. I don't even know how. The lane hooks so much. I don't know how you could throw it in the right gutter. It's so bad. But, yeah, that's what nerves and excitement will get to you. But that's why we do it. I mean, it's been a while since I felt that. We're all adrenaline junkies out here in one way or another, so it was fun to feel that.
Yeah, you're going to bowl on TV for a title. It's been about a year and a half, 2 years since you've done that, so
yeah.
How excited are you for that opportunity?
I was super excited. Now I got to see if I can remember how to do it. I bowled some good games on TV. I feel like I've been confident, but yeah, we still got a job out here. For me, it's one day at a time, 5 games at a time, especially with the injury I'm dealing with. So it's kind of taking it day by day. But, dude, stoked. Can't wait.
You weren't kidding when you said you have to do things for your back all the way through, because right before this second block, I saw you laying on the hard floor,
oh, yeah.
Trying to work that thing out. What about upstairs? What do you do to kind of beat back the pain and the possibility of pain and get out there and get the job done?
Yeah, that becomes the hard part. At the TOC, I really had that's kind of why I withdrew, because it got too much on me mentally after every shot for 4 weeks, just really hurting. It was just too much on my brain, and I just couldn't bowl. Had a little bit of a panic attack, and I was just like, dude, I can't do this anymore. So I took a week off, went home. But yeah, I mean, it hurts physically, but it definitely kills you mentally as well.
Sure. Having gone through those first 10 events, being the color commentary guy, and also competing, how has your, I guess, rapport or relationship with the other guys on tour either stayed the same or changed?
I think it's kind of stayed the same for the most part. A lot of the guys have been super supportive. We're all friends out here. For me, my goal is I want to make them look as good as possible. That's the only thing I care about. However the show needs to do to get that to come across, then that's it. But yeah, no, I did pick up one really big fan, and that's Chris Barnes. He's a really big fan of me now. And he's probably in his room jumping for joy, like, yes, finally, this guy can finally bowl. But that's the only change, really.
He's absolutely going to make the PBA 50 show.
Oh, yeah, he's guaranteed to make it. Yeah, he doesn't even need to show up.
All right. What have you learned about bowling from every week you're interviewing whoever bowled the best that week and asking them how they did their best? So what have you maybe gotten some insider trading information?
I know, it's frustrating because they know I'm trying to do it. I'll be asking these EJ and Simon, and they'll be like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you that. And I'm like, damn it. But, no, it's just seeing how they go about it. I mean, I know they're good. I know what it takes to get there. It takes everything, mentally. You just got to be firing on all cylinders. It's really just more mental than anything. Like, execution is a given out here. It's how you can keep yourself mentally in it to execute and make the right moves. Like today, you have to, pair to pair is really hard here. They're very tricky, and every week brings its own challenges. So it's cool to see these guys. That's why EJ is so crazy, is he can overcome the challenges. And so watching those guys, seeing how they do it, it's so impressive.
when I interviewed Rick 3 days before your first telecast.
Yeah.
Of
course Rick leaves and I think.
Well, yeah, naturally.
Naturally.
We kind of dove into the topic of sometimes what you don't say is as important or more important than what you do say in those situations on TV. Pete Weber, for example. If Gary Thorne doesn't have the presence of mind to stop talking, who do you think you are, I am, is not heard by anybody.
Yeah.
Much has been made of the fact that when Rick brought up the Nate Garcia thing, you said nothing.
Yeah.
You've never been in TV before this. What do you draw from to kind of get to that place where you know that it's either good or a way to hold serve to say nothing instead of saying something?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's common sense. Like, I'm not here to cause drama. These are my guys, and I look. I'm a player first. Now, I want the show to be great, but the show's gonna be great because the players look good. And that was a situation that was between players, and it's all he said, she said stuff. So I mean, that's not me. I'm not getting into that. There's no use in talking about it. So and no one, and at the same time, like, yeah, I don't even want to give an opinion on it really because it's bowling. I've seen a lot worse stuff than that, and it was whatever. And the Laveries didn't care. So if they didn't care, and they're bowling, like, no one else should care either. And that was kind of my thought. And it just, there was more pressing stuff at hand to talk about. That was kind of my thought process. Yeah.
All right, we got 20 more games to bowl here, hopefully. So we'll let you get back to it. Kyle Sherman, congrats on making the Chameleon Championship Finals.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you for watching Bowling with the Fef. Pound the like button and subscribe button. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and it's free. Bowling with the Fef is brought to you by Chip Magnet. Raise your snack standards.
Bullwinkle's in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, the official bowling center of Bowling with the Fef. Jerry's Score-More Pro Shop, the Eau Claire area's leader in bowling products and services since 1988, and Visionary Video Hub, video with impact.
Email bowlingwiththefef@yahoo.com with questions or to appear on the show. You can also reach out on your favorite social media platform.